everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to
Hi.
the podcast series Asian Civilization and its Preservation, a collaborative program between the Universitas Indonesia, the Asian Universities Alliance, and the University of Malaya. In this episode, we will delve into two crucial aspects of our times. Those are global warming and cultural development. I'm your host. My name is Hendra Kaprisma. I am lecturer of Literature Department of the Faculty of Humanities at the University of Indonesia. And then I'm thrilled to guide you through this intriguing discussion. Global warming has emerged as a pressing global issue that demands serious attention. In many parts of Asia, including Indonesia, the impact of global warming are becoming increasingly visible. It's like rising sea levels, changing rainfall patterns, and more frequent extreme weather. Events are affecting communities and ecosystems across the continent. Notably, Asia, as a nation dominates the list, facing significant threats. China leads with 50.5 million people at risk, is like 4% of its population, followed by Vietnam with 23.4 million, is around 26% from the population, and Japan with 12.8 million is 10% population, while India, Bangladesh, and Indonesia also face substantial risk. For example, in Indonesia, while its extensive coastline and diverse ecosystem faces numerous challenges due to global warming. Coastal communities are grappling with the threat of rising sea levels, which can lead to saltwater intrusion into freshwater sources and cause displacement. Furthermore, changing climate patterns can impact agriculture, affecting livelihoods and also food security. Similarly, in neighboring countries like Bangladesh, the effects of global warming are deeply felt. With its low-lying landscape, Bangladesh is highly vulnerable to sea level rise and floods, putting millions of people at risk of displacement. The country's cultural identity is intricately linked with its water-based way of life, making climate adaptation a complex challenge. In addition, let's consider the case of Japan. This is our friend Taiga, where rising sea levels and changing weather patterns are impact traditional fishing practice and coastal communities.
Yeah. Actually, due to the global warming, some kinds of fish, fishermen cannot catch some kind of fish recently, and it is changing our style of diet, and yes, and it is becoming the bigger problem. And actually, yes, the amount of importation of fish is increasing now, and yes, some fishery villages is now threatened of disappearing. Yeah.
And Taiga, could you describe where do you come from?
Where do you come from? I'm from University of Tokyo. My hometown is located in Kyushu, Fukuoka City. Thank you.
Okay, and I hear that Japan's cultural heritage is deeply rooted in its connection to the sea, and the challenges posed by global warming are prompting discussion about preserving these centuries-old traditions. What do you think about the tradition in Japan and connected with the issue of global warming and also cultural development?
Actually, due to global warming, the number of catastrophic typhoons is increasing in Japan, and due to such typhoons, some villages are the edge of disappearing, and as such villages are disappearing, the culture or customs in there will also disappear. And yes, I think it does closer damage to heritage or culture.
Thank you, Taiga. And now we have also friend from the Saudi Arabia, from the King Saud University, Abdullah.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum
Hi,
Abdullah.
alaikum salam.
Have you ever thought about how climate change influence the identity of people in the Saudi and also the values and ways of life of society across the world, especially in the Saudi? Could you explain more about the impact and the influence
Climate change in Saudi Arabia.
climate change?
Okay. I think the climate change in the recent years, for example, last year's the rain is we have a lot of rain last year. My father told me we haven't seen like this since 1996, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think you read or listen to news. We have snow north Saudi Arabia, called city is Kaka. You know the desert and snow. You haven't seen it like this before.
Yes, yes. I hear that your desert now become like a snow
Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah. This is north Saudi Arabia, near to Jordan. The place or the city called Skaka. I think the weather became more beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It sounds different than Japan. In Saudi, you you
Yeah,
say that,
sure, sure. It's
Okay.
absolutely different than Japan.
and it will be
And you know-
make a cultural evolution, maybe.
Cultural evolution? Maybe, I think.
Okay, thank you. And we also have friends from Indonesia, from Universitas Indonesia, Andira.
Hello.
Hello, Andira. Could you share your story about the interconnectedness of global warming and cultural evolutions, or maybe the how you ever hear or seen about the climate change influence the identity of people, especially from Java, maybe?
Actually, globalization, global warming, and the culture will always somehow connects to hustle culture, in my opinion. Like for example, with the COVID that was happening a few years back, I actually believe that the earth somehow get greener. I also heard that the horizons have healed little by little, and I'm sure one way or another it will impact our culture. Like, for instance, yesterday's lecture was about happiness and how environment makes us feel happy, and one way or another it will impact our culture. I believe that with the environment that's getting healthier, greener, or like cleaner, I believe the culture will be different. Like, again, with the COVID that was happening a few years ago, I think there was a reducing time of hustle culture because people have time to lay back, to just have times with their family. I think it changes something in Indonesia because I personally believe when I was in high school before COVID attacks, my friends will always have something to do, to think about, like they're a big part of hustle culture. But then COVID hit. They now have more times to spend with their family. They also have time to do their hobbies and also have time to do whatever they like. They don't really touch the social media as much as they once back then was. So I think that's the connection of global warming and then the culture or civilization. Thank you.
It sounds interesting. Can you share more about the illustrate how climate change has influenced the traditions?
The traditions. I once actually traveled to Java, and I was riding the fisherman boat because we were trying to go to the waterfalls that lies within the sea. He says it was actually an evening, like 5 p.m. It's already late, I know, but the fisherman said before global warming happens, the sea rises isn't as much as it's currently am. So I believe, like Taiga said about the rising sea levels, it also impacts the culture of the fishermen, because he too also said that it is now they now have shorter times to go fishing, because they can't really predict when will the sea rises levels up or levels down. So it's harder for them to catch fish. It is also harder for them to find fish actually, because they find it a bit difficult to find a sea location that is no longer contaminated.
Okay, and you, Taiga,
Yeah.
can you share an example from your regions that illustrated how climate change has influenced cultural practices and traditions, and how have communities respond to these changes while preserving their heritage? You mentioned about the
Officially
fishery.
here. Actually, it's similar to Indonesian case, but in Japan, it's rather more programmatic. The rise of sea temperature is the most crucial problem in Japan. The the fishermen in Japan used to catch cannot live with such a high temperature of the seawater, so they can't catch the fish they used to catch. So actually there, yes, some fish they used to catch and they used to eat and they used to process, where it's no longer in there. So the the customs, or yes, for diet culture is changing because of that. And yes, global warming, I think global warming does damage to Japanese culture.
Interesting. And you, Abdullah, have you observed any instance where the recognitions of cultural heritage has led to increased awareness about climate change? How can cultural institutions play a role in educating and mobilizing communities to address these challenges? Have you observed?
Yeah, I think they share us videos about the dangers of global warming. Yeah. Actually, now we are what is it? More than 10 million in Riyadh capital. We try to all the Riyadh became green city.
Okay.
With the tree,
You make
more than 10 million.
eco perspective
Yeah.
for the environment.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
And then, based on your expertise, Taiga, can you discuss how individuals' perceptions of climate change and cultural identity are interconnected? Are there ways to enhance people engagement with the climate action through a deeper connection to their cultural roots?
Oh, so you mean a lot of Japanese people pay attention to the global warming in terms of culture preservation? Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Actually, I'm sorry, but not so many Japanese people pay attention to global warming. As we focus on catastrophic disaster caused by global warming, but actually we don't pay so much attention to cultural preservation in terms of global warming. So we are not so conscious of some culture is now in danger because of global warming. So I think we have to pay more attention to that.
Could you share
Yeah.
examples of successful initiative that involve multiple Asian countries working together, or your institution between society, university, and also government?
Yes, I heard some companies try to plant more trees in countryside, but the people in rural side in Japan is decreasing now. So there's some forest is no longer taking care of anything. Yes, so Japanese forest needs some care to preserve its. So if Japanese forests are deserted by anyone else, so such forests will go bad, and some disaster is caused by abundant forest. Yes, it doesn't preserve so much water. So if it rain or when it rains so much, the villages around the forest will be damaged due to forest. Actually, some birds in forest will go to the village and destroy the building.
Okay, thank you for your sharing. And Andira,
Yes.
how can such collaboration strengthen the overall resilience of these societies? Could you share your example successful story about the initiative that involve maybe multiple Asian countries working together to tackle both the environmental and also cultural aspect of global warming?
This is probably a long time ago, but I remember there was a forest. There was a fire of a forest in Kalimantan, and doesn't like the whole world try to save it because Kalimantan is known as the lungs of the world. So I believe that they help too, and they one way or another they try to save our culture, because I'm sure there's some village that lives there that's actually being saved by how they save the forest. They also save the village around, and beaches too also. I once cleaned a beach in Bali. The locals and then the foreigners also come to clean the beach up, to take the litters. Even from the waters, they try to take the litters out the water, and then to nearby. So I think that's a really beautiful way to help a country save its environment as well as it saves the culture, because there was a nearby village near the beach that I was cleaning, and they felt very lucky because they said they can't really handle all of these litters anymore.
I address about the Kalimantan,
Yeah.
Borneo and Bali. This is the key word is mitigate.
Mitigate.
Could you shed light on the ways in which cultural factors can either amplify or mitigate the effect of global warming?
In Bali, they try to guard the trees, and I think it also helps the trees to grow. It helps the environment as well as how the Bali people preserve its culture, because they pray to the trees, not to the trees, to the gods that symbolize in the trees. So I think it also saves the culture and the trees.
Okay, and then based on your perceptions of climate change and cultural identity are interconnected, are there ways to enhance people engagement with climate actions through a deeper connection to their cultural roots?
Honestly, I think the answer to this is probably social media, because social media is the place where this current people find a lot of interest in. Like for the example, for taking beautiful pictures. For taking beautiful pictures, I'm sure you wouldn't want any litters around, right? Yeah. So if you kind of like influence people to, throw the trash where it belongs, take care of your trees so you can have more beautiful pictures. Like in the surface level, we can actually do that. We can do that too to the temples. Some temples in Indonesia are actually ruined because of the peoples. Not only one or two, of course, but like with the loss of peoples. And I'm sure with some acknowledgement and some news spread about how can you take care of the temple, I'm sure by now you can actually preserve it, because social media is a big part. You want to take beautiful pictures for social media, you can, you can not sell, like promote. You can promote your any part of your world in social media, and social media plays a big part in people's judgment. So I believe by using the social media as a form that you can try to pursue people to keep their culture and keep their environment clean, you can actually make it clean and more comfortable.
Okay, can you share your examples, Abdullah, in your country?
Actually, we have the King Salman Relief Center. This center helps others country. Maybe 1 month or 2 months, you hear about the Turkey earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we send help to them. Medicals, help, money, everything. For the global melting, we actually my
It's from King Salman initiative.
yeah,
Okay, so the community services based on the King Salman funding.
yeah.
Okay, the last initiatives is about earthquake in Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about you, Taiga? Can you share your examples about the illustrates how climate change has influenced cultural practices and traditions? Maybe, like Andira said, the media social now is have the biggest impact in the society. What do you think about that?
I agree with Andila. Actually, yes, Japanese people loves to take beautiful picture of scenery and post such pictures to their Instagram or Twitter. So yes, like Andila, we love to see such pictures, and such pictures makes us conscious of preserving nature. Yeah.
I agree with them. The world became like a small village in the internet and social media. All the world together, like in a small village. I'm from Asia, someone others from Europe and North America. All the world can see the social media.
I think like in the name of social media, you can make people do anything.
Yeah.
You can make people clean the trees, like because
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
people clean the forest in the name of social media.
Yeah.
I heard some of my friends say like, okay, let's do this because I want to post when I do this on social media.
Oh.
Not purely intended to clean, but just to post, and that is not as good, but it's better than not to clean anything at all.
I think this is influencers'
Yeah.
work.
Flippers
Yeah.
work.
Famous.
Share idea and also share actions, and we will
Feel more encouraged.
feel more.
Yeah.
And
Encouraged.
also we wait for the effect of the dominoes.
Yeah.
Okay, and based on our discussion today, from our conversation, it is clear that global warming is not just about rising temperatures or melting ice. It's about how climate change affects the deepest aspect of human life, such as values, traditions, and also our relationship with culture and nature. Culture, as the core of our identity, plays a vital role in meeting these challenges. What do you think about that, Andira?
Honestly, yeah, because our ancestors are actually very, very close to nature, right? We always, what is it called? We always take natures everywhere we go, from our clothes to our foods to how we live. It was always side to side by nature. So honestly, I believe by you embracing your culture, you can actually go back to nature because you're like going back to your ancestors' world or the values that they value. So when you're like bringing it to the same level, I think you can actually go back to nature if you go back to your culture.
And how about you, Taiga?
I think yes, each tradition, every tradition is related to nature. I think so. Yes, we have to pay more respect or attention to the nature when we worship such traditions. For example, my grandfather was born in the mountain, and yes, his house is located near the waterfall and surrounded by forest. Yes, and every time we go there, we pay more attention or respect to the forest and mountains, and yeah, it is enhancing our consciousness to the culture and nature.
We have a connection with nature. As we take from nature, we should give nature what it deserve, the care, more take care of the nature, and if nature and we end too.
Yeah, thank you for listening. I do believe that we younger people should pay more attention to the nature because the future of the earth is now under our control. So we should be more conscious of responsibility of preserving the earth and climate and culture of the world. Thank you.
I think we should take actions in taking care of our natures and our cultures, even in the simplest way. I believe you can find that simplest way in your own terms, in your own liking, but please do it because we all need it.
The world it's not the same before 10 years ago. It's not gonna still like this after 10 years after. I hope the next generation, make the world better.
From our conversation today, it's clear that global warming is not just about rising temperatures or melting ice. It's all about how climate change affects the deepest aspect of human life, such as values, traditions, and our relationship with nature. And the culture, as the core of our identity, plays a vital role in meeting these challenges. As we deepen our understanding of the relationship between global warming and cultural development, we become better equipped to contribute to positive change within our societies. Okay, let's keep discussing, learning together, and taking action to preserve cultural diversity and care for the environment for generations to come. Thank you for joining us in this episode of podcast Asian University Alliance. Let's continue nurturing our care for our culturally rich planet, Earth, making it an extraordinary habitat for all of us. Until next time. Thank you.